Albert Einstein once said, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough." That's the beauty of quotes. They condense profound insights into just a few words, cutting through the noise and complexity to reveal a core truth. A single sentence can shift your perspective, spark a revelation, or inspire a lasting change. Here are 9 quotes that have profoundly impacted my life, and perhaps they might change yours too. When you're good to others, you're best to yourself. Benjamin Franklin. At first, this might seem like a call for altruism, a reminder to be kind for the sake of others. But the real power of this quote lies in its reflection on the symbiotic nature of kindness. Each act of generosity or compassion isn't just a gift to others, it's an investment in your own well-being. When I first started volunteering at a local community center, I went in thinking I'd be the one helping others. What I didn't expect was how much those experiences would help me. The simple act of listening, sharing a meal, or offering a kind word transformed my perspective on life. I felt more connected, more grounded, and ultimately, more at peace with myself. Don Miguel Ruiz captures this perfectly in The Mastery of Love, when he writes, "If you want to become a master of love, you'll have to practice love. Kindness is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And as you cultivate love and compassion outwardly, you find those same qualities blossoming within. The quieter you become, the more you can hear." Ram Dass. We live in a world that thrives on noise. Everyone seems to be shouting their opinions, their desires, their grievances, all competing for attention. For a long time, I thought I had to do the same, raise my voice, assert my presence, fight to be heard. But the more I shouted, the more disconnected I felt. It wasn't until I embraced silence that I truly began to hear. Through meditation and mindfulness, I discovered a profound truth. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of clarity. In quiet moments, I found a deeper connection to myself and the world around me. I began to notice the subtle cues in conversations, the unspoken emotions, and even the beauty in everyday life. Silence became a sanctuary, a place where I could reflect and recharge. As the noise of the world fades, what remains is a richer, more authentic experience of life. In the words of Lao Tzu, silence is a source of great strength. Peace is the result of retraining your mind to process life as it is, rather than as you think it should be. Wayne Dyer. Expectations are a double-edged sword. They can drive ambition, but they can also trap us in a cycle of perpetual dissatisfaction. For years, I was caught in this trap, constantly measuring my life against an ideal that seemed just out of reach. Every setback felt like a personal failure, every unmet expectation a source of frustration. Wayne Dyer's words struck a chord during a particularly difficult period. I had just completed a Vipassana meditation retreat, where the practice involved observing life without judgment or attachment. It was a revelation. I realized that much of my suffering stemmed not from my circumstances, but from my resistance to them. By learning to accept life as it is, imperfections and all, I found a profound sense of peace. Paulo Coelho's wisdom complements this beautifully. If it costs you your peace, it is too expensive. Letting go of rigid expectations doesn't mean giving up on goals or dreams. It means embracing the journey, with all its twists and turns, and finding contentment in the present moment. As long as you have certain desires about how it ought to be, you can't see how it is. Ram Dass. This quote builds on the previous one, diving deeper into the pitfalls of attachment. How often do we miss the beauty of the present because we're fixated on how things should be? I've fallen into this trap countless times, particularly in relationships. I'd create a mental blueprint of what the perfect relationship should look like and then become frustrated when reality didn't align. But life isn't a script, and its beauty often lies in its unpredictability. When I let go of my expectations, I began to see people and situations for what they truly were. I found joy in the unplanned, the imperfect, and the unexpected. As Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron says, the root of suffering is resisting the certainty that no matter what the circumstances, uncertainty is all we truly have. The most important aspect of love is not in the giving or the receiving, it's in the being. Ram Dass. For a long time, I viewed love as a transaction. I gave love expecting something in return: appreciation, affection, validation. Conversely, when I received love, I felt a pressure to reciprocate in equal measure. This mindset often left me feeling drained and unfulfilled. Ram Dass's perspective on love shifted everything. Love, he suggests, isn't something you do or exchange. It's something you are. It's a state of being, an open-hearted way of moving through the world without conditions or expectations. This understanding transformed my relationships. I started approaching them with a sense of abundance rather than scarcity. Love became less about keeping score and more about simply being present. In another profound reflection, Ram Dass said, "I would like my life to be a statement of love and compassion. And where it isn't, that's where my work lies." This quote serves as a gentle reminder that love is an ongoing practice, one that starts within and radiates outward. The point is that God is what nobody admits to being, and everybody really is. Alan Watts. Alan Watts was a master at challenging conventional thinking, and this quote is no exception. He invites us to reconsider what it means to be divine. Society often teaches us to view divinity as something external, something separate from our human experience. But Watts argues that the very essence of life, the ability to see, hear, think, and feel, is nothing short of miraculous. How is it possible, he asks, that a being with such sensitive jewels as the eyes, such enchanted musical instruments as the ears, and such fabulous arabesque of nerves as the brain can experience itself as anything less than a god? This perspective isn't about inflating our egos. It's about recognizing the inherent wonder of existence. It's a call to see the extraordinary in the ordinary and to honor the divine within ourselves and others. What you meet in another being is the projection of your own level of evolution. Ram Dass. This quote has been one of the most transformative for me. It shifts the focus of our interactions from external judgments to internal reflections. Every time someone's behavior triggers a strong reaction in me, I've learned to pause and ask, what is this revealing about me? Carl Jung's words echo this sentiment. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. If someone's arrogance bothers you, could it be highlighting your own insecurities? If someone's kindness moves you, might it be reflecting a quality you admire in yourself? This quote invites us to use our relationships as mirrors, offering invaluable insights into our own growth and evolution. You either walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside your story and hustle for your worthiness. Brené Brown. Brené Brown's work on vulnerability and shame has resonated with millions, and this quote encapsulates one of her most powerful lessons. For years, I tried to hide my flaws, seeking validation through achievements, relationships, or external success. But no matter how much I accomplished, it never felt like enough. Owning my story, embracing both the light and the shadows, was a turning point. It was a process of radical self-acceptance, of saying, this is who I am, imperfections and all. When you stop hustling for worthiness and start standing in your truth, you find a sense of belonging that no external validation can provide. It's a journey, but one that's worth every step. Everything changes once we identify with being the witness to the story, instead of the actor in it. Ram Dass. This is perhaps one of the most liberating lessons on perspective. Life often feels like a drama in which we are the main character, caught up in the highs and lows, the triumphs and failures. But Ram Dass invites us to step back and become the observer, the witness. When you watch your life unfold with a sense of detachment, you begin to see it for what it is, a temporary, ever-changing story. You're still engaged, but you're no longer consumed. This shift in perspective allows for a deeper sense of peace and freedom. As he wisely puts it, learn to watch your drama unfold, while at the same time knowing you are more than your drama. One last thought to leave you with. The end is never the end. It's always the beginning of something. This quote by Kate Lord Brown reminds us that life is a series of cycles. Every ending carries the seed of a new beginning. So as you reflect on these 9 quotes, consider them not as conclusions, but as starting points. Let them inspire new ways of thinking, feeling, and being.